everybody. Welcome. I'm so excited you're here. We're going to wait for just a little bit to help or to allow for everyone to get on. But for those of you who are new here, my name is Janny Lisenby. I'm the artist behind Red Roof Barn, and I have the burnsavvy.com for those of you who are learning how to do wood burning or want to do things better. Basically, that's the site that I wish was out when I started wood burning. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. I would like to just take this time to just kind of connect. I feel like there are so many of us who don't have any connections right now. And so we're going to just wood burn. It's not really scripted. I'm just kind of taking it easy. So I'm going to turn this around now. Let's see. Oh, hang on. There we go. Oh. Here we go. So that was the little pattern. If you don't have a pattern yet, then, oh, thanks, David. Hi. It's been a while. Gosh, it's been a long time. We're getting old, man. So this is the pattern that I have over on Burn Savvy. If you didn't go get it yet, just go snag it. This was actually my rough draft. I didn't bother printing it off because I try to, save some of the paper if I can. And this is a piece of basswood. It's about 4 inches or so. Well, hi, Johnny from Argentina. And we are going to draw this on here. And I'm debating how to do it because I did a little practice. This was the realistic burn. Yep, I'm going to burn. It's going to be awesome. Hi, Dana. So we can do it with simple line art, or we can do this with realism. I'm not sure. You guys let me know there in the comments what you think sounds more fun. And I'm just going to trace this on while I'm waiting for you guys to go ahead and message me. And I'm just using painter's tape and regular carbon paper. And this has been used a bazillion times, so I hope there should still be plenty on here to use. But if you want to, you can just take pencil, color all over the back of this, and then trace that on. That's a popular way. I prefer this way. I feel like it's easier on my wrist. So I'm going to just trace it. Oh, we have a vote for realism. Let's see here. And I'm rarely perfect when I trace this nonsense on here. I just go for it. And you can always check and see how your pattern is looking. I never tape mine all the way down because I gotta check it. I've missed too many things in the past. And in case you guys are wondering, this is just a little stylus. It's for like nails, I think, is the one that I bought, but you can also find it for painting and stuff. I just bought this off of Amazon. So, it came I think in a set of 5, and it doesn't really matter which end you use. And anyway, if you're using a pencil, you don't have to worry about that. But if you're interested in what I'm using, there you have it. Oh, we have another vote for realism. Hi, Niral. How are you? Okay. And I try to keep it fairly light. If it's too dark, I'll just erase some of it before I start burning. For those of you who don't know, burning tends to set that carbon or the graphite or whatever you're using. So if you make it too dark, it can be really hard to remove. Let's see, how am I doing here? Ah, I'm good, Niral. How are you? Oh wait, I already asked. I'm glad you're here, by the way. For those of you who have just joined, we're voting right now whether we want to see this done in a realistic style or whether you want to see this done in a line art style. Either way, my pattern is just that. It's a pattern. It always turns out a little bit differently for me because I can't seem to do it all the same. So, yes, the sand eraser, I got that from Amazon. Let me show you. This is the eraser I use. This is the sand eraser, the mono sand eraser. Woodburn Corner introduced me to this, and I found this on Amazon. I think the cheapest way to get it is like in a 6-pack, but not all of us need 6 erasers, so just get what you need. I think it's like $3 to $5 or something like that by itself, but anyway, if you're interested in that. So this is how it looks in the end with my pattern all done. And we had a couple of votes for the realism, so I think that's what we're gonna go with. So this is my Colwood Detailer pen. That's what I'm gonna be using today because I like it. And this here is the tip I'll go ahead and use. Let's see, where can you get the eraser? On Amazon. Or you can go to Tombow. This is the brand. I think it's Tombow USA or Tombow Official or something like that on Instagram. So if you're interested in that, feel free to go check them out. But it's a fantastic eraser. It's actually the best eraser that I have ever used for wood burning because it's got that sand in it and it actually erases. If you can't get a hold of this, try to do at least an ink eraser because that will have a little more grit to it than a normal eraser. Okay? And then this here is my shading tip. It's a pretty small one. I've got some bigger shading tips that I use for bigger projects. But because this is a small project, I'm just going to use this. And hook it up. Let's see, I'm turning my heat on to about a 5. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I think most of the votes came in for realistic. So I'm going to just go with that. So when you're thinking of realism, you need to remember where your light is coming from. And for me, that's going to come from the left side so that the sunshine is coming over here. Let's see, how do you transfer the image? Oh, I used graphite paper and one of these things. I'm going to save the live so you can see how we transferred this. And if it doesn't save, I'll just make sure I make a video for you so you can see how to transfer it. But it's really easy. You can also just scribble all over the back of a paper. Okay, since I'm at a 5 and I want these edges right here, I think to be more dark, the light's going to come here, but a cactus has those lighter edges. So I'm going to not burn the whole thing. I'm just going to burn a sharper edge right there and keep my pen angled so that it will be shaded. I should have turned on some music. Oh well. You guys all just hum to yourselves. I guess you guys can turn on music. You guys should turn on music. So how many of you are actually burning this with me, and how many of you guys are just watching it this time? I'm just terribly curious. Jen, you laughing at me? I should have turned on music. I guess we can all sing to ourselves. La 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 la. Again, if you're curious, I've got my heat set at a 5. I typically like to start right there in the middle. It's kind of light, and yet it gives me enough darkness that I can move fairly quickly, because I like to move quickly. Oh, I miss you too, Jen. I'm glad you're watching. Let's see here. Oh, well, cool. Welcome, Scrafty Goods. I actually just started these. I'm planning to start doing these once a week, at least for a while. I might continue it, but I know there have been a lot of people who have been lonesome, a lot of people who have been scared or anxious, a lot of people trapped in their homes and feeling trapped, I guess I should say. I'm at home with 5 kids, one of them being 5 weeks old. So things are lively around here. It is not slow going. But I felt like a lot of people really needed this. So here's hoping it helps some people. And it gives me a good excuse to burn, right? Any excuse to bust out the burner. Oh, so now that I've gone all the way down, I'm going to go ahead and trace the next line. Oh, we got another just watch. Well, good. I hope you guys learned something and enjoy. You can burn vicariously through me. How's that? But I like to trace each line just based on basically where the light is coming from. So since my light source is going to be coming from this side, then I'm going to trace it so that it's a hard shadow on that side and gets lighter, at least on this side of the cactus. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, and I have to laugh. There are a lot of people who love cacti. And just some fun facts. This is called a saguaro. It's spelled saguaro, S-A-G-U-A-R-O, but I always crack up when I hear people saying, oh, the saguaro cactus or the saguaro cactus. It's saguaro. I believe it's a Native American word. I wish I could remember right now which tribe it comes from, but I remember having a friend from Washington say, oh man, these saguaros are so cool. I'm like, it's saguaros. And he says, no, there's a G in there. And I said, well, yeah, but it's silent. So, and let's see here. Oh, and the other fun fact I was going to share is plural cactus is actually cacti, not cactuses. So, in case you were wondering, for another useless fact for the day, there you have it. Okay, I'm going to turn my heat up just a little bit. Okay, so instead of... Is that close enough? Do you guys want me to move closer so you can see? I think I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to move you guys closer so you can see it better. There, that's probably easier to see. Hello, everybody. Welcome. So instead of going and tracing this edge right now, I'm going to come back to that later. Ooh, now we're getting some nice deep color. And what I like to do is go back in and just darken things right where I want it. Usually in realism, you have less of an edge, or sorry, less of a line and more of an edge, and you work your way into a shadow. There we go. So I like to turn mine upside down when I'm switching to the opposite side. I could just turn my pen this angle and burn that way, but it kills my wrist. So I turn mine upside down and go from the other direction. Yeah, and I don't know if you're like me, but I have limited patience and my kids have kind of used it up. So I'm going to turn this up again. I'm at like almost a 6. But see how much faster I can already go? One thing about turning up the heat though is you need to make sure that you've got a sure hand. If you're not sure, it's always better to keep the heat a little bit lower and just work your way into it rather than hit it hardcore and go after it. But once you've got a fairly steady hand, you're familiar with the heat, all that kind of happy nonsense, then turning up the heat really isn't a big deal. Again, keeping the hard edge on one side and then fuzzing it out. That's the beauty of these patterns, is that everyone's is going to turn out differently. You can have it be this basic line art style like it is, and people will come up with all kinds of interesting ways to finish it. And I just love that. Some people might fill it in just as it is. Some people are going to add little, what do you call it? Spikes on it and stuff. Other people will fill it in with doodles and all that kind of stuff. So that's always fun. Oh, you didn't want to be a surgeon? Because you don't have a steady hand. Yep, I can see that. Hello. Is that Jose Silva or is it Josie Silva? I'm glad you're here. And by the way, you don't have to have a perfectly steady hand. You just have to get familiar with it. I know people who actually have, gosh, what's it called? They're the tremors, the essential tremors. That's the word I'm looking for. And they'll do wood burning. They get like all shaky, and then they can just put it down because they're familiar with their tool. And then I will go back in, add a little darkness to some of these shadows, clean up my edges a little bit. Being a cactus though, I don't have to perfectly smooth out my shading. Hi, Megan. I'm glad you could make it. You guys should all just tell me what you guys are up to. It's a Thursday night. Most of us are stuck inside. What are you guys up to other than chilling here with me? I guess regularly. What are you guys up to these days? We got some weird days going on right now. Okay, and while it's upside down, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in some of these other sides. I should probably turn it back the other way and fill it in after the fact. But I'm not going to. I'll do that later. Putting kids to bed. I know this story. I just put my kids down for bed. What we did is we had early dinner and then we just told them all that as soon as they got ready for bed, we'd turn on a movie upstairs in their rooms, and we never do that. So they were very excited, and that way my husband could still do stuff and I could come in here and burn with you guys. Yes, the struggle is real. It is so real. Okay, so you can see, if you look closely, that I didn't totally cover that line. So I'll probably go back in with my eraser. If my eraser doesn't take that off, I'll use sandpaper. If my sandpaper doesn't take it off, I'll use my chisel. A lot of people use a razor blade, but I find that too wimpy for some of my burns. So I use a chisel. Let's see. Another thing about shading and doing this a little bit realistically is that it takes a little more time and a little more patience. So this is one of those things you want to do on a time when you want to just relax. I'm going to come do the same things over on this cactus arm. And if you guys decide to burn this, I would love to see it. You guys should tag me so that I can see it, and then tag the Get Burn Savvy, because I want to start using that so I can see what people do with these patterns. Because I love seeing all the different styles. Even though I burn a lot of shaded realism and all that kind of stuff, I really love some of the fine art, what do you call it? Line art. I love that kind of stuff. If you guys have any questions, by the way, feel free to pop them out there. And if I can, I'll answer them. Okay. And go back in and darken up some of these lines, clean them up just a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to turn this around and just get that last little line right there. There we go. And I'm going to put just a little bit of a shadow around this edge, just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to turn my heat down. Oh, this time maybe to like a 4.5, just so I have a little more heat to work with here, a little more room. And then I'm going to pull in a little bit of that line so that it looks more like an edge rather than a line. Nope, I'm turning it back up to a 5. I want to work a little faster. Next time we're on, you guys should put in a vote for music so that I remember to turn it on before I come in here. Okay. And typically when I'm doing my stuff, or using a pattern, I should say, even when I'm not using a pattern, I like to put in a little bit of an outline. I try not to make it crazy dark, but I put in that outline and then I can blend it in a little bit. That's how I like to work it. Some people will work it straight in. They'll start just in one corner and perfect that corner. And sometimes I do that, but for the most part, I like to get my edges in.